Good evening, good morning, and good day. I'm Josh Darrah, and this is the Gunpla Insider for the Gunpla Network. And today I have with me Scott Tiller. How you doing, Scott?
Hey.
So I'm here today to ask you a few questions about your starting off in the hobby, what you like about it, and where you see it kind of going. So I guess first off, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the hobby.
Oh, okay, Josh. Thanks, mate. Listen, about 12 months ago, almost to the day, it was like last December, my buddy, I've been watching it on Gunpla Network and a few different places. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get into this. So we wandered down to Hobby Rama in Brisbane there, and we picked up a kit, and I think it was somewhere GPO 1 or something. And yeah, I think I bought the kit, and then the next day was Christmas Eve. We went to my parents-in-law. That night, I ordered a Zaku as well, Shah Zaku, before it even touched the other box. And yeah, off that Christmas, that 2 or 3 weeks of Christmas was like pretty epic. It was about 12 builds, just lots of HGs and things like that. And I kind of went nuts, dude. And it really grabbed me. And as you can see here, somewhere around 40-something builds this year, and they're not all great builds, and some of them are terrible builds. But you know, like, it's obviously get my little
I'm seeing probably 80% probably terrible, 85 to 90% terrible. But there's a couple in there. Yeah,
you're being generous. But you know what's been great? It's kept my little mouse wheel busy for the last 12 months between the reality and all that sort of business. Yeah.
I can't imagine when I started. I was super excited, staying up late, and then I have to go to work, and I'd be like, okay, 2 a.m. I'll go to bed. You got to find it at Christmas when you're on holidays. No wonder you blasted through the kits. And
I was smashing out little HGs, and like my wife would get up in the morning, and I would put them like I had one of those little trays, like a tray you take your breakfast to your partner with. And I put them on the table with the lamp, and I would put my new unicorn or whatever, my little HG, and be like, oh, doing that whole A-frame thing. Oh, awesome! And my wife would come out, and I'd be passed out on the couch at like 6 in the morning, and there'd be this little dude, and she'd be like, oh, you built another little dude. And then and that cycle went on for like 2 weeks. I just like punched kits out. Yeah, it was really
good. Man,
right.
And she saw you finishing those robots. She's like, man, if he wasn't asleep, I'd jump his bones right now. That's some hot stuff right there.
But she knew my love was somewhere else with the robots.
That's it. Yep. And man, so tell me about some of your builds there. Like, what kind of style do you like? Do you like clean builds or messy builds, or what have you been finding you enjoy?
I'm definitely a Universal Century type guy. Just when I first started, one of the other admins at Gunpla Network, Mark Kirk, he's an Aussie guy, lives in Sydney. He kind of grabbed me and sort of went, oh, blah, 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 how you going? I'm Mark, like over the chats and stuff. And so Universal Century was really what I went for. And then I guess with Universal Century, it's very much about it's about war. There's not a lot pretty. And I guess for me, I've always had a bit of a thing for, I guess, war history. I spent 8 years in the Australian Army as a signal technician, and I guess a few trips to overseas and stuff. And I kind of went, war's not so awesome, but I still had this kind of desire to sort of understand the warrior and things like that. And when I sort of found Gunpla, I'm like, the similarity for me between UC and the kind of like whole World War II thing is no one can deny it. There's flags that are the same, there's uniforms that are the same. And so I got to kind of enjoy military history, but no one got hurt. It's just a cartoon. But it's still, it's very cleverly woven in, the questions about why are 16-year-olds expected to fight, and things like that. So with that, War Machine was pretty much my thing from the start. And primarily weathered where I can, although, small steps. My first big trick was gunking, so I just kind of got everything and went bloop. I'm like, how good is that? And it's a result. It's bare plastic. It's you don't even have to panel on it. I've got a Zegok in there, the RG Zegok, the pink one, which I just sort of went boom, and man, it's like still my best build almost. It just looks like it's been sitting there swamped, just waiting for it all to go down. I have tried to get clean. There are people that sort of go, clean's different. Yeah, I appreciate a clean build, and I'm starting to see more opportunities for me to build cleaner stuff as I get kits like, the Sazabi Verkar. The Stein I've got here, the Stein Verkar, doesn't even have a top coat. It's just got the 136 water slides, and I think I painted the bazooka and the thrusters, and it's just like, for me, that's Bandai in a box. It is perfect. Like, see up here, Josh, are you familiar with this picture?
Oh, I guess, yeah. I've seen it before somewhere.
Scribble. Yeah, I did a little scribble. The Stein for me is, and it's funny now because there's all these people going, I got the Stein, the narrative one. I'm like, dude, I was in the Stein before it was cool.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
On the bandwagon.
Get out of the way. Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I see myself getting cleaner, but at this point in time, it's weathering is an art because it can be done poorly. But isn't it wonderful how many different styles there are within Gunpla? Yeah. You know,
it's fantastic. You can find the styles that you like, and your tastes evolve. Like, I remember some of my early builds, I was doing the weathering and the pre-shading, and I look at them now and I see them as a bit amateur. But when I was doing them, they were super fun, and it was just filling up my creativity and my satisfaction 100%. So the same with your gunking. It's simple because you just bloop, but you still love it. And even just when you were first into it, you probably will never beat that kind of thrill and excitement of that kind of step on the Gunpla. Yeah.
And the beauty is that if you look over when you've got your sort of, because I know that you kind of put a lot of stuff away and you limited space, but I'm fortunate to have 3 cabinets. It'll be more soon because I've got a couple of more Vercars I want to knock up over Christmas. It's almost like if you look around your cabinet, it's kind of like a Gunpla journal. You can sort of go, because my first big plan was to build an origin shelf, which is down there. So I built them chronologically. The mobile weapon 01, and then the WAF, and then the Bugu, and then the Zaku, and then the Iron Cavalry. Oh, sorry, the gun tank was earlier on. And I was watching Origin, and I was getting right into the lore, and I was like, and this and that, blah, 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 blah. I was like, you just go right that way while it's just coming through. And then you start to move out into other stuff, you know. But, yeah, it's good to look. It's like an actual sort of journal of where you travelled with the Gunpla as it kind of got you. Yeah. And every time you look at one on some Wikipedia thing, it's the variant of that. And you go, what's that? Oh, and what's that? And all of a sudden there's 6 new kits you need to buy next week if you're allowed.
Emphasis on the word need. Yeah.
That's right.
Have you found that with some design? You're like, it's okay. I don't know why people like it. And then you see it animated or something and you go, hot damn, I need to buy that.
Yeah, definitely. What was the one that you did for GBWC this year?
The Gabflea.
Oh, Gabflea. Yeah, right. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've seen the Galbaldi this morning. Oh, yeah.
Weird little grasshopper bug guy. Yeah.
He is, eh? Yeah.
Okay, well, what inspires you in the hobby? Like, are there builders, or is it mainly the cartoon and the lore? What kind of gets you thinking differently or getting you all inspired?
I would say that, like I said, it's very much about the story. I've got people constantly harassing me to watch like Seed and Wing and stuff. Like, I don't know what it is. You know, like some people just don't like a particular type of food. Like my daughter doesn't like seafood. It's like you're asking to actually eat turd or something. The way she reacts, it's ridiculous. I feel that way about the Exia.
Oh, I don't like the Exia, man.
I look at it and it's like, I have this term called the Gen Y. It's like shoulders are wide, the ankles are narrow. It's too humanoid. And for me, they've all got legs. They're all bipedal. They've all got arms and stuff. But I can't see what I think is a cockpit. I can't imagine a power plant in there. And then it's got GN drives. Oh, I'm going to get flamed, blah, blah, blah. And all that sort of stuff. So what drives me is like when I see the Unicorn, like something like MS8 Team, like that is for me penultimate Gunpla inspiring animation, because when you see a ground type sitting against a cliff, hiding behind some trees, and then goes, and it's 18 metres tall, and it's in like a huge canyon that you wouldn't jump off with your friends into the river, you're like, that's a war machine in a battlefield, and I want one in my cabinet. And there it is. Yeah. There it is, just there.
You got it.
Yeah, you know,
it's that kind of base in realism. Even though it's totally fictional, it has enough realism that your mind can go, I want to dive into this. and that's what I like about it as well. Mm.
Yeah.
And did you fall in love with the Goof custom from watching 8th MS Team?
No.
You're like the only human in this hobby that didn't fall in love with the Goof custom from that episode.
I think the problem was that I fell in love with the Boo first, and they're kind of like, they're a similar strain. You know, it's kind of like the Goof is like, for me, it's sort of like a Zaku on Halloween. I don't know. The Boo for me is a pretty rad piece of kit, especially when I think to like the Origin series, and you see what goes down the moon and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, that Rumble Rail dude, I can identify with a kind of semi-overweight, grumpy kind of dude in a big blue mobile suit. That's me. It's my favourite company.
What's your favourite anime or series? Origin or Unicorn?
Like if you say to me, okay, what's the answer? The first thing that always comes to mind is Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Ah, yeah.
As a series, like Iron-Blooded Orphans is possibly some of the best TV I've ever seen. Like, I'm not an anime guy. You know, the admins at GN are trying to, watch this Mazinga and this and that, and I'm like, I'm just kind of enjoying, you know, like, just dip my toe in. But Iron-Blooded Orphans, like, I laughed, I cried, you know, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but, you know, it's a bit Game of Thronesy. It's like, I just freaking really enjoyed that, dude, and now you go and do that and stuff. But either you see, unfortunately in my work, I can kind of do what I'm doing. I can play a bit of an iPod in the corner, and just today I've started watching episodes of Zeta again, and it's rad. There's a lot of little struggles there, you know. Like you see up to there is kind of like it's gritty, and Zeta is where it starts to get the new type thing starts to really develop. And as much as I don't really thoroughly enjoy the new ageness of it, the trigger of tech from the new type capabilities, you know what's coming. You've seen the Sazabi, you've seen the new, and you're like, oh, they're starting to. It's like a big lab. They're starting to work it out, and before you know it, it's going to be, you know, Amuro and Joe, and they're going to be doing it again. And today, someone told me about the Nightingale and the High Noon. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to need another cabinet now.
Oh yes, yep. Okay, so in terms of, do you have any of your kits that you want to show off or talk about in particular that you're super proud of or anything like that?
Look, I suppose, like, I love all my children. Like, don't make me do that. It's not fair.
You have to put one in the bin for every one that you bring out to show me.
I don't know. Oh, look, GBWC for this year was a pretty amazing time to meet so many amazing people. I'll pull out. I did do this GM Sniper 2, which this is literally my style. It's kind of gunked. It's kind of weathered. It's on a platform with some HO skull cows that aren't quite the right size. But, you know, when people make dios to tell a story, I make dios to, you know, for me. And this dio was really about this dude sitting, you know, on a hill somewhere in a valley, waiting for some Zaku to walk between a couple of hills, you know, 2 mile away. And he's like a big old excavator, you know, every little hydraulics are relaxed. He's just sitting there. He's probably reading some dirty girl magazine and, you know, eating chicken wings and that. To the point where the cows think, that hasn't moved in a while, I'm going to go eat some grass over there.
I didn't even think of that as part of the story. He's been for that long.
And then next, because cows don't just hang around. And the next thing, boom, and all the cows like fall over, you know, like in the cars. You know, and it was just such a, like, this is all train stuff. This is all train grass and train flowers and train trees and train cows and just there's my sniper just sort of shoveled in the middle there, you know. So that for me was really good. I've always been really proud of that, and I always will. I just thoroughly enjoyed that step.
And you should be. I really like seeing that in person because I don't do the gunking, and it was really nice gunking and weathering. Yeah,
and the sniper, I was talking to Jordan just the other night. The sniper has a lot of these sort of weird, sort of square edges, and he's also like, you know, as a sniper, he should be like getting down amongst it, and you can see he's kneeling, so one knee's on the ground, so you can really just go to town on all the edges and really weather it up and go, look, he's going to be getting weathered. There's lots of them. Like when you weather a Sazabi, it's like, it's primarily space and I do what you want to do. Gunpla's freedom, and it's your dollars. But, you know, like, you can really go to town on a sniper or a GM of any type, really. Yeah, so that's probably still my favourite out of everything. The Sazabi Vicar nearly broke me. I made the mistake of kind of building it 3 times to build it up and then pull it down and sort of like do stuff and build it back up and then pull it down. It took me a long time, and things changed in me when I did that.
That was something for me. I'd see people do a snap build first, and then they take it back apart and paint it, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I would like paint on the runners, or just snap all the pieces out, paint them all, and assemble it back together. And then I realized that you miss parts and you miss underneath areas and stuff like that. And so it's funny how you go, oh, I see why they were doing that now. And now for me, snapping it together and pulling it apart, you get to know the kit super well. Yeah, I never thought
especially when you're doing in a frame, it's really easy just to paint everything. But sometimes you're like, oh, I'll just paint that bit. But then when you put the arm together, you can see down between the armour, you know, or up between the leg. Or if you put him in a good, like, sort of Alstrock flying pose, you can see up through the skirt, whatever, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you do the gunking and the weathering and some kind of like clean builds. Is there any kind of aspect to the hobby, like detailing or any technique that you want to get more experienced at?
I think what I have started noticing in stuff is, you know, there's like some builds where they get like, say, a Hyakushiki, and they'll do this like say for example, this kind of you know, like somewhere between this kind of pink and this kind of purple, if you can see that. They'll just take one of those really gorgeous pastels and give it a real manga type anime. There's a dude in Perth, Gunpla Works, Kurt, and he recently did a kit. We're following him on Instagram, and it's just got this real like purpley, like just amazingness to it, you know. And I would like to sort of. I was talking to Jordan, and he did this a GM sniper. He did kind of like oranges and blues, and it just really really works, you know. Yeah.
So you're talking about like the colours are a bit muted and a bit pastel-y?
Yeah, there's like a weird, like even when you look at them in real life, there's like a weird wash over them. So just to have, I would like to just have that confidence to kind of take a $75 kit and just full palette change it and have a bit of fun with it. So I'm actually buying a Jagan from Zomster on Sunday.
Oh, really? I saw that. Oh, wait, I was at Hobby Rama and I saw the Jagan and I nearly got it.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the minty green, so I'm still deciding on what to do with that. So that kind of full palette change. I've got my airbrush. I don't use it half as much as I would like to. I'm too lazy. I don't like cleaning, that sort of stuff. So yeah,
I got a couple of these. What are these? These are
exactly
Mecha Trowie Go kits, and it's like a pastel kind of blue and pink. And I got inspired to buy a bunch of these. So doing a kit in these kind of colors, they're not as bold and rich. It's a nice effect, and I haven't done it yet too. So I want the courage to do it as well.
All right. We shall be brave.
We shall what?
We shall be brave.
Oh, yes. Yes. I love it. Just painting something in this is brave. Come on, Scott, let's do it. Hold my hand. We can be pastel pals.
We can.
Okay, so I had another question. If you could pilot any mobile suit, which one would it be?
Stein.
Oh.
See, I always have this thing where, like, I would have a daily driver, but then I would also have my Maserati. So my Maserati, I like going up over the mountains and that would be my Stein. But my daily driver would be Mark II. Specifically,
that's a good
huge one. Yeah, so probably the Stein. It's just so rad. There's just something really rad about the Stein. Even though it's got a lobster head, I love it.
Oh, no, I love the Stein. Yeah, I can't decide between the normal Stenanju and the Stein.
You do have two of the best of each of those in the whole universe.
Thank you. I do love my Stein. That was one of my early ones, and I really like it still a lot. Yeah.
I have just one thing. I have a fellow that joined my my workplace the other day. He built a lot of sort of other mecha-y stuff and Warhammer and stuff. He goes, I want to get into Gunpla. And I'm like, okay. So I should get my first kit. I'm like, oh, look, I would get this, like, MG Jagan, which is, like, a really great kit. And he's like, oh, good. He got through that. And he's like, what's next? I've got about this much money. I was like, oh, look, if you... Because he's a modeler and he knows what he's doing. I'm like, dude, the Steinver car is by far one of the best kits ever. So we just bought that. So his first 2 kits is the Jagan. I'm like, you son of a bitch, I should have given you like a HG Hyzak or something stupid to muck around with, learn your lessons. But no.
Yeah, he's got to earn his way.
So fortunate to have me.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could only have like one kit to build for the rest of my life, it would probably be the Stein or the Sinanju, the Master Grade, just because it's just such the pinnacle. Yeah. So if they can make a kit that isn't released yet, is there a kit that it hasn't been made that you'd love and wish if you could just make Bandai do it, that they would make?
Oh, jeez, I don't have enough knowledge, to be honest, Josh. Like, I'll probably go, that, and you're like, they made that one. That, they made that one. And be like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's already like a 2.0 and 3.0 of that kit.
Yeah, that's right. Jeez, where you been, noob? Yeah, I don't know, man. There's already beautiful stuff. I've got a real thing for the Jester at the moment. Like, I'm trying to get hold of the MG Jester. That's totally not the answer to the question, but anyway.
The Jester.
I've got a Jester, but it's a PB one I got from Japan. So it's all like, so it's same instructions, but you probably won't be able to see, but it's clear.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm building this on Sunday with some guys. So it's as good as I can get. I'm going to build it. But yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, you're going to love the Master Grade Jester. It is just another pinnacle Master Grade. Oh.
It smacks of War Machine, right?
Totally. Yep. And he's big too. Yeah.
For an MG, he's big.
Yep,
I love it. Like when you've got like an RX-78 too. I've got the Verkar of that, and then you kind of work your way through a Zaku and a Gyaradoga and a Gelgoog, and then this, and you're like, whoa, and then you look up at your HD shelf, and there's the Kshatriya, and you're like, whoa, the thing's a beast.
Huge, yeah. Are you like everybody in the world that wishes they'd make a Master Grade Kshatriya?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to see, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They might as well go all out and just do a PG.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm hoping they make a PG Sinanju one day, because then that means we might get a PG Sinanju Stein.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Anything else you want to share about what you're into?
No. Look, I just, Gunpla's good. It's what Gunpla's done for me in a lot of ways. It's actually bit itself in its own bum, because it kind of opened up a whole kind of creative aspect of my personality that I knew was there, but was a little bit like, I'm too busy or I don't have this. Like since that, I built an arcade machine, which you've seen, based on a RetroPie. It's kind of rad. I'm really happy with it and surprised.
Very rad.
I bought a 3D printer, and I've been like tooling around with stuff and printing cool stuff, and just I bought that for my 7-year-old daughter basically, so I can print her cool stuff. And it's the whole level of arts and crafts like taken to extreme. And that's what Gunpla's done for me. I notice I appreciate other things more because it just started getting, it's a bit like just going for a jog one day. Next thing you know, you're running around the forest and you're running down the beach, and because you went for that little jog, and now you realise running's awesome. I'm going to run more. And that's really what it's done for me. It's given me, I've got a space, and I think it's important that people have that space. It's quite often I see people don't have a space to go and just let it all go, and then it stops, and you're like, thank God, I thought you'd never shut up. We all
do. Totally.
We all do.
Yeah. I think that's why it's so good, is you can just snap a kit together and have the fun and the mindfulness of focusing on that. But then you can add a little bit of a wash to it, and you're feeling creative, and you're changing it and making your own. And it only took you like half an hour to add that extra little detail. And then you're thinking about it when you're away from the desk and away from the hobby. Going, I can't wait to get home and try this out. And like it got you to do the diorama with your sniper there as well. So it expands out, and now you do like 3D printing with it. Yeah,
beautiful. It's good, and you meet good people. You do meet good people, because it's hard to find people that you've got stuff in common with. Gunpla is a very specific group within a group. It's not modelling, it's not scaling, but it's still modelling. And it's a beautiful place because it's sort of like you can do whatever you want. You really actually can. As much as some people want to tell you, you got to paint, you got to appreciate, you don't. It's not a D-Day Sherman tank that looked exactly like this when it hit the beach. You have so much room and space to just do whatever. You want to paint that thing bright green, people are going to say it looks stupid, but it doesn't matter because there's no accuracy involved. You can just go, look at my green Stein. That's blasphemy.
No. That's the one combination that's not allowed. That's the one thing that's not freedom.
Pretty sure I've seen metallic green narrative Stein already, though, so sorry, mate. It looks great.
Yeah, that's what I reckon. I almost think it's a perfect hobby, which almost scares me because I'm worried that I'm not going to do other hobbies as much as I do this the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. I've got other hobbies that I think back to them now, and I'm like, why was I even interested in that? Like, what was that doing for me? Because this hobby does much for me in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the investment versus the payoff is just so lean towards the payoff with it. Yeah.
Especially when your hobby takes away from time with your family, you make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
You really do make the decision. Like, it's all good and well to say, I just duck off when everybody's asleep. But you don't. You know within yourself that you manipulate and you work the room a bit so that, you guys should probably go to bed.
Yeah. Dad, it's 5 o'clock. Go to bed.
Exactly. So when a hobby means that much to you, it must. When it's consuming, it's good.
Yeah, and some people don't have stuff like that. And so I think we're also fortunate to have stumbled on something like this that we just love so much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for chatting to me. Scott, was it?
Yes. Scott.
Good to have you in the community. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me in. I always like seeing your work, Josh, and, wondering what's he going to do next, Cool. All right,
well,
Josh. Yep.
I was going to say the hobby got me back into drawing as well. Like I was sick of drawing other things, and I'm like, I don't have a kit to build, but I want to draw something. And then I started drawing all the Gundams. So it's interesting where it might take you and give you other inspiration and other hobbies or other parts of your life that you might not have done for a while. Yeah,
most definitely. Like I was thinking, I always want to do figure roller skating, and now I feel like I've got the artistic side of me, and I can. No, mate, joking.
Oh man, you were holding it good. I was holding it good too.
I can't roller skate to save myself. My wife's an amazing roller skater, but I'm not going to do a hip every 12 seconds. Yeah, I'm wasting your time now.
Thanks for joining me today. This has been Gunpla Insider for the Gunpla Network. My name is Josh Darrah, and this was Scott Tiller. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, mate. See you soon.
See ya.